non-plugged-in microphone.
Can't tell though.
I don't know how to add you to admin on here.
So I guess the question is, I mean, we should probably go to YouTube and search for the NFC Fighting YouTube page because it should indicate that we're live somewhere.
Oh, well, that's it right there, isn't it?
Yep, that's us live. Yeah.
This is but it's from a couple of minutes ago. Well, that's it right there, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, that's perfect. That's live.
I should probably make that lower, huh?
Yeah, no, so that's actually perfect because essentially if anybody's watching us live, which is 0 viewers right now.
I don't know. Jesse watches it. I know Jesse always comments and a couple other people whenever he posts videos.
Really?
We don't get many. It's not the NFC community.
I would send. Do you think Jesse has access to a computer right now?
He should, or his phone.
Let me see if I can get.
Well, I'm going to message him to see if it's working.
Yeah. Larry Green is actually on. He already commented, when am I commentating a fight?
Oh, man. So look at that. We have 2 viewers.
PTC Combat Fitness is on here with us. So they've already commented.
We're getting tons of viewers and we didn't even know it. You're not a loser doing nothing on a Friday night. You're getting free entertainment. We should be charging you for this.
That's right. I agree.
So this is our first ever.
So we're actually live right now, and this is our first. Not only is it our first ever, it's our pilot, and I put that on there as the title. This is just a pilot run. Make sure we know what.
So you guys are getting the entertainment for free before we go to VIP paid membership on this.
Larry, if this is what you're doing for a living, is watching me and Oblast, man, we got to have a serious talk about life.
So for our pilot, we have 2 microphones.
We have 3 microphones.
And only one of them's working.
Right.
But we're not going to tell you which one's working.
Yeah,
we have
it's one of these 2 is working, but you guys can hear us because I can see the comments and Larry's laughing, so that's a good thing.
It's going to be hard for anyone to top our podcast as a pretty professional.
I think it's pretty professional. I'm rocking the Mac. You're rocking the HP laptop.
Bought the day after Thanksgiving 2 years ago on Black Friday.
Nice.
So I probably should cover that up and put an Apple logo by next.
The interesting thing is that one of the things we didn't do is that we didn't launch this on Facebook, which is probably a good thing.
So we have a podcast and I'm talking.
I'm doing all the technical stuff. You got to start talking because I'm doing all the technical stuff. I'm looking at everything that we have here and what's working and what's not working.
Uh-huh.
So
I'm trying to make you an admin on the NFC community so we can post you in there. But then if you're an admin in the NFC community, you can shut me down at any point in time if me and you ever get an argument.
We always get in arguments. It's just a matter of time.
How do I make you an admin in here? This could be confusing. You'll also get to see how big the NFC community is.
I was an admin on there. Somebody took me off.
I've blocked many people over the years. At least you weren't blocked. I've only taken you off as an admin. You're probably just added for a short period of time. Admin assistant. How in the hell do I? Larry, you at the Delta office, or what are you doing on a Friday night out of curiosity? Oh, you are in the office. You said, I hate being in this office. Do you even still work for Delta? Members.
UFC 137, Steven versus Tanner. Did that fight ever happen?
Who?
Steven versus Tanner? It was Wiley, right?
Oh, yeah. Stephen Wiley beat him a couple weeks ago to retain his title.
Okay.
And what's his name? Brian Jordan put the title belt on him.
Nice. Oh, that's right. Yeah, because one of the cool things that we can do with this platform is that while we're doing the podcast,
I'm Stephen Wiley, also known as Wild Man Wiley. I fight at 170, fighting out of X3 Sports in Atlanta, Georgia.
Should have just made you an admin in the NFC community, which can be taken away at any point in time.
If I misbehave.
Hey, Larry, can you hear us okay as we're talking, since you're our biggest celebrity guest right now?
Yeah.
See what you have to say about that, Larry.
Yeah, so it's a little delayed, so he's getting it right now.
PTC Combat is Pete Snyder. Okay, so here's us both, so it's at least working.
Okay, cool.
So who do you want to talk shit about first?
We can't do that on this podcast.
I thought that's what we were going to do.
We absolutely cannot do that on this podcast.
If we don't do that, I don't know what else we have to talk about.
I have made myself a promise that I will be a shining light on this podcast. There's already, if you want to be the negative guy, you're more than happy to be the negative guy. That's not going to be me.
I made myself the same promise 19 years ago. I just haven't done well with that.
Well,
promise.
the thing about it is that you're in a position right now where people can hate you, and that's not a problem.
I don't think people hate me as much as they used to be
I
honest.
agree.
I'll say that as BS, but I really think the tide has turned with me in the NFC, where people don't dislike me and Jesse as much as they probably have over the years.
I remember those days.
Yeah.
I remember those days, man, when we were at Wild Bills, like at not necessarily the beginning, right? Because at the beginning you were new as a promoter, so everybody wanted to get to know you, and that's the new promoter guy. And then after a while, it's almost like when you first started becoming successful, people almost thought you were like a millionaire.
Yeah.
And they hated you for it, because every time you were trying to like pinch pennies to actually make $1, they thought you were ripping them off. Yeah. It was terrible, dude. Well, I remember those days.
The problem was I was very good friends with Amy Lynn at the time, who was a CFO of Wild Bills. I actually talked to today when I took the photo of Wild Bills, or now Atlanta Coliseum, and posted. We chatted back and forth. But the old theory at Wild Bills was comp as many tickets as possible. There were a place that could fit 5,000 for concerts. And as I'd have fighters selling tickets, Amy would have to comp. She'd put out 50,000 tickets at LA Fitnesses and One Life's and World Gym, whatever, other bars, to get 3,000 people for a concert there or for a fight there. So people thought when they saw a fight crowd of 3,000 people, they thought Dave Oblus was killing it. I was the next Dana White. People did the math. $50 a ticket times 3,000's over $150,000 easily. They didn't understand 3/4 of those people got in free. So fighters would be out there selling tickets and hustling, getting a commission on the tickets. And then their friends would go to LA Fitness, and there'd be a stack of tickets as tall as Damian Whitehead on the counter there. So people would grab those tickets, and they'd ask for refunds from the fighters that bought it, which would screw me up and everyone out. But it would make it so Amy Lynn had 3,000 people in the place. Right. So I remember when I left there and went to Center Stage, I actually lost money the first 2 or 3 fights that I was at Center Stage, just trying to get people back into the habit of actually buying tickets. And one of the things that put Wild Bills out of business back then was New Year's Eve. They had Florida-Georgia line, or it might be Georgia-Florida line. I don't know which one. But they had them and paid 6 figures for them on New Year's Eve, and people just didn't buy tickets. They were waiting for the free tickets to appear, and they never did. So that was one of the things that screwed up Wild Bills at the end of their, at the end of the business there was just the comping of tickets and people thinking I got 3,000 people to buy tickets.
I think for a long time people just didn't get it, man. Because I remember when I would ring announce for you on a few of those shows, you would be like, "Hey, don't cash that check until I call you or let you know, because there might not be any money after this show."
So I was talking to Nate Mann about that last week when we had dinner together, and Nate would always text me after the show and say, "When can I cash my check?" And I cash it today, Monday, Tuesday, and we used to not get the Ticketmaster check till the Thursday after the fight. And now with the pandemic, Eventbrite not only makes you wait till the Thursday after, they make you wait 10 days, Eventbrite's new policy, because there have been so many shows canceled in the last year and a half with the pandemic and everything. But now the bad thing is fighters and everyone else, you guys can just take a photo of your check like that and deposit it. Right. So people are cashing my check before I ever bring in the money from ticket sales. And less people are buying with cash these days than the old days. Everything's online for the most part now. So the game has really changed in the last year and a half dramatically. Yeah. Both good and bad.
Yeah, those were crazy days, man. I remember that, man. All the fighters hated you.
Let's not say all. There are a couple that liked me.
Dave, most of the fighters hated you, dude. It was like, it's almost like the ones that were being nice to you were simply because they knew that for the most part you were the only show in town, the only consistent show in town. And so they were just buttering up to you, dude. I think they hated you because of the misconceptions they had, right? It wasn't because it was legitimate hate. It was just like they just didn't understand what you were doing. And I mean, I remember you used to work at the Love Shack, dude.
That was
remember
over
those
a decade
days
ago.
too, man.
Yeah, no one knows about that.
Yeah, everybody.
I appreciate it.
I know about that. Everybody, if anybody's watching, I know Larry Green knows about that.
And that's why I don't sell any of my company or give it out to Wable or Charlene or anyone else, shares or whatever, because then more people want to fire me, hated me, and you guys could fire me.
Yeah.
So that's why no one's getting a portion of that anytime soon.
I would love to fire you.
Yeah. I've had people suggest I fire you in the past. I don't know if I ever told you about that.
They've told me.
Yeah.
They've told me directly. Like,
I think everyone has told me to fire you, to fire Charlene, to fire Jesse. Jesse shared our post on the NFC community.
Did he
so
really?
Now we actually might have people watching us.
Oh, geez.
We have one like Travis Floyd, who's
nice, fighting
Josh Mayer on our November 20th card. And Jesse replied that he got it. So now we have to step our game up now that we're officially in the NFC community. But it's not embedded, though.
If you look at the bottom, it clearly says on that banner that I learned how to put up there, this is just a test run.
But it doesn't matter if you're alive.
Yeah.
A lot of people do test runs and you're still alive.
Yes.
We're still going to get hate if we don't do a good job.
We're going to get hate anyway.
No, we're not.
If there's one thing we've learned, we're going to get hate anyway. And that's all right.
I wonder who Bad MF is. Gave us a couple claps and a thumbs up.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I remember those days, Dave. I remember when no one liked you, man. But people like you now.
People like me now.
People like you now.
I think they've learned to.
Things have changed, man. Things have definitely
changed. I know I spend more money on shows than I did in the past. Fighter purse is higher than it used to be 15 years ago. The ticket commission plan we have laid out that pays a lot of the fighters 20 to 30% if you can move tickets. That's better than it's ever been. It used to be a flat $5 a ticket, so it encourages fighters to sell tickets. And I just think people have realized how long I've been in this game and how much I care about it. You can't be in this game very long if you don't truly care about the fighters, the athletic commission, the sport, the evenness of matchups and everything else. I think, we see the average fight promoter come and go in a year or so and just don't last the test of time. So I think people have seen that I care, you care, Jose, Charlene, with Jiu-Jitsu, Clay Bennett. We put in together a good team where everyone is enthusiastic and cares about the shows and the fighters and the fans.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons why the group at the NFC is successful is because outside of you, we all have jobs outside of that, right? We're not depending completely on the NFC. And so it's almost, not only is it a side gig, but it's a break from the monotony of what we do every single day and stuff. We get that, cool. We get to be a part of this show, right? And because it's been so consistent, I agree with you. I mean, so many shows have come and gone. I mean, where's Soko? Was that his name?
I can't make fun of Soko because it turns out Soko, one of my very good friends is Mike O'Kelly that runs Tuk Tuk. He's a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. Well, one of his best friends is Soko. So we keep talking about O'Kelly is going to get me and Soko together. It hasn't happened yet because he lives in Florida, so I can't talk that badly about Soko. But yes, he's gone. 864, I don't mind talking badly about. They're gone.
Yeah.
Brett Moses, he's gone. Me and him talk every once in a while. We're cool. Lane Collier, I haven't seen Lane Collier's name in 15 years probably.
Yeah.
Coonpon, I talk to him all the time.
Yeah.
He says he's going to come back and promote shows. I don't know.
Adrian Patrick, that was one of your favorites.
Fuck Adrian Patrick. So, that guy was a complete douche.
Yeah.
Adrian Patrick.
I'm
glad he's gone. I don't think too many people liked him.
Yeah, we fell out when I used to ring announce for him. Then what was the name of the boxing promoter that used to promote Delgado's fights? I can't remember his name. But anyway, I went and I got hired to ring announce a boxing event for him. And then Adrian Patrick contacts me and tells me I can't ring announce for him anymore because I'm ring announcing for the enemy. And I thought he meant business. Like I thought he meant the business enemy of his, right? It was his competition. And it turns out he was referring to a white man, that I was ring announcing for a white man. Therefore, I was the enemy. And I'm like, dude, I'm Puerto Rican, man. I'm kind of in the middle. I'm like brown. So
Adrian Patrick did show his, I thought we were going to talk smack, but he did show his racist card many times, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I don't think he liked white people very much. And he made that rather apparent, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that is what it is.
I think the promoter's name was Greg Barkov.
Yeah, that was it, Greg Barkov. I was looking for it right now online, but that was his name, Greg Barkov.
Yeah, him and I think Shane and Shay Bailey.
Shane Bailey, yeah.
Those are cool guys too, guys that
are.
you kind of competed with as well. I mean, when you used to do boxing.
Yeah, and I don't talk to Greg anymore. I've seen his Facebook posts, and we message every once in a while. Not often, but I know he does a lot of golf tournaments and some high school sports and stuff like that. So he's still out there doing well. Where is Paul? I mean, last I saw, did he have Parkinson's or what did he have?
He had something to do with, I don't know the exact details. I think he had something to do with CTE. Obviously, he fought professionally for a really long time at a high level. Since he was a kid. So you got to take into account all the sparring he did. So I heard he had some medical issues. This is all hearsay. I haven't spoken to him directly. I talked to some of his friends, and they told me that he had gone back to Cape Verde, where he's from, and now he's back in the States, last I heard. So I think he's working with Adam Pina in a new boxing gym up in Woodstock, if I'm not mistaken. Doghouse Boxing, I think is what it's called. So, but Adam Pina, he's a little bit crazy. He'll admit it himself. But if there's somebody who can do pads, Adam Pina can work some pads, man.
Really?
Yeah, he's really good.
I don't know what Larry Green means by we're a toasted almond. I don't know what that means. I'm not familiar with that.
Toasted almond. I think he's talking about me because I'm brown.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm a toasted almond. I'll take it. Yeah.
If that's the worst we can get tonight in our test run, that's not too bad.
That's not too bad. But anyway, man, we talk about your past and how people didn't like you, but now is it a curse that so many people do like you?
I don't know if that many people do. I don't know if I'm that wide a fan base.
Because the reason why I say it is because, all right, when people don't like you, they're not gonna feel comfortable hitting you up and saying, "Hey, can I come to your show? Hey, can I get in free? Can I do this?" Now that a lot of people like you, and then they almost all seem like they're all your friends, you got to get crushed. Yeah. The week before a fight.
I mean, I will say the bad thing is the week of a fight or a couple of days before, my phone rings nonstop, text messages, Facebook messages of people messaging me about something, usually wanted to get in or this or that. But then the week after the fight,
nothing.
My phone, nothing. Maybe my Match.com or my Tinder, but that's really about it. No more friends the week after a fight, which is good because I want to rest. But it just shows me that a lot of people message me the week of the fight, just want something for free.
Right.
And unfortunately, we offer a lot of jobs that we give out less tickets now than we did ever before. But I think it's gained more respect from fighters and fans, and probably got more money in fighters' pockets through the ticket commission and stuff like that. But
does having a team like you have now, like Charlene and Jesse, that alleviates a lot of it, right?
I think through over time, I've put together. It's not just me. I think we put together the best team for jiu-jitsu with Clay Bennett. With MMA, with Jesse, with Charlene doing everything she does, you always stable doing the announcing. I think the team of the NFC, people even forget about me sometimes. I think people go through you guys for different things, and people forget if they like me or dislike me, except for after the show if something goes wrong. I don't want to name a fighter, but we've had a couple fighters have dropouts in the past. A guy not make weight or not show up or this or that. And the fighter that did what they were supposed to do and that I pay 100% of their show money to, I'd later see they'd kind of bash me on Facebook or bash the NFC. And I'm like, we didn't do anything. Like, we showed up to weigh-ins. We showed up to the event. We did everything we're supposed to do. We thought we had your reliable opponent. It's not completely our fault that guy didn't show up to do what he was supposed to do. So hopefully the Athletic Commission punishes fighters that haven't done what they're supposed to do, that voided the contract.
That's a topic. I mean,
it is a topic.
That's something that people talk about all the time.
Because I think
that can be done, right?
Yeah, I think that protects the sport. I mean, if me and you are going to fight and you just don't show up at weigh-ins, and I've sold a lot of tickets and people are waiting to see the fight, they bought it to see me and you fight and you don't show up, something should happen to you. You should be fined. You should get suspended. And the way it works right now is I pay the opponents, the fighters' purse money that did show up. So I've paid a couple of those lately, a couple $1,000. And I pay them if they show up and weigh in and do what they're supposed to do, and their opponent no-shows. Their opponent might not get suspended, might not get fined. I thought the opponent that doesn't show up should pay the other guy their purse money. I bet you we'd see a lot less of that. I mean, we've seen more guys canceling, saying they have COVID, but refuse to send us a positive test, or they're just send us, the little COVID at home pregnancy test. But they won't actually go to CVS and get the one with their name on it.
So that's called the Oscar De La Hoya move.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, he at least went to the hospital. These guys, I don't know. I guess COVID has kind of screwed up everything in the last year. People can just claim they have COVID, and we never know if they do or not. So I don't know. It's crazy.
When you pay the guys that do show up, that's just something you decide to do.
Yeah. So the contract actually says, and I worded it this way, my attorney did a couple years ago, and we emphasized it during COVID, but it says if the fight does not happen, neither fighter would be paid their purse money. Like it says that it's in bold on the contract.
Yeah.
And I want guys to see that. That way they both show up and do what it's supposed to do. But it says if you do not fight, you will not get paid. Unfortunately, the athletic commission, I've asked them to make a ruling on if the fight falls out the day of the fight, the day of the weigh-ins, 2 days out, 3 days out. But they haven't made a ruling. So sometimes I pay the guys if it falls out within a day or two. But if it falls out more than 3 days where they haven't started their extreme weight cut, I don't pay them, or I might only pay them half their show money. And that's just me based off how I feel, or how many tickets they've sold, or what gym they're from, or if I know I'm going to have them back on a card and I need to keep the relationship. It's based on 100 different factors. Just probably like you treat your daughters different ways based on if they do something wrong.
Sure.
It's really a case by case basis. But yes, I wish the athletic commission would start penalizing fighters that don't show up for the fight, because I think that would protect the integrity of the sport and protect the guy that did show up to do what he was supposed to do.
I know we have to be real careful, right? Because I want to talk about the athletic commission a little bit, but you have to be real careful with the athletic commission, because I mean, if you say the wrong thing, they may call you in front of them and be like, why are you saying this about us now on a public forum?
Yeah.
Right. But it's almost like, where is the commission? I mean, the commission, I've been to a few commission meetings. I've had to go to commission meetings and have these guys yell at me, and, because they cut. I'm free to say whatever I want, because I'm not licensed by the commission as a ring announcer.
But I might still get blamed for what you say, because I'm not part of it.
Right. So I'll be careful. All right. So you can just point at me whenever you say that's him, not me saying that. But these guys at the commission, not all of them, but a bunch of the people, my experience with the commission is that they're a bunch of guys that like to stick their chest out, act real brave because they have the commission title in front of them. But at the end of the day, they can say whatever they want in their positions. But one of the things that really upsets me about the commission is that they're never at the fights. Like those guys sitting at the table, I never see those guys at the fights. Now, I've been to, when I used to write for Fight News, I've been to some huge shows in Florida, down in Hollywood, Florida, just north of Miami. I went to Madison Square Garden to cover a Miguel Cotto, Sergio Martinez fight at Madison Square Garden. Commission people are all over the place. Yeah. Like the executives of the commission are at the shows. I understand these guys don't have to go to all of our shows, and the NFC shows aren't as big as these shows that we see on HBO or on Showtime or pay-per-view. But at least go to a couple shows a year so you know what you're covering and what you're essentially protecting. I mean, how do you feel about that?
I agree. I mean, one of my very good friends is Dr. Traub. Dr. Traub's been in nearly every show in the last 15 years, not only my shows, but Boswell Boxing, other MMA, UFC, Bellator, other boxing. So he's got a good feel on it. I've told him before, they're the 5 most powerful people in the sport of boxing, MMA, and Muay Thai in Georgia. I mean, you might think I'm powerful. You might think other people are powerful, Jesse, you, whoever. I think they're by far the 5 most powerful men in the sport. And I've told them they need to be at all the fights, not only for them to see which shows go on good and give advice to the other promoters that don't do it well, but to see the bad shows. I mean, there was a boxing show a couple weeks ago that started 2 hours late. I mean, the doctor was there, the ambulance was there, fighters were there, some fans were there, athletic commission was there, everything was ready to go, and they delayed it 2 hours. That shouldn't be acceptable behavior from any promoter. And then there's fighters that do stuff wrong. There's trainers that do stuff wrong. I mean, I just think I agree with you. They should be at the shows. I agree.
It's hard to say. I mean, it's tough because they have so much, they rule with an iron fist, man. They really do. And it's like, they're always asking, well, who was there or who saw this? Do we have a video? Well, darn it, man. If just one of you was there, you wouldn't have to ask all these questions. You wouldn't have to verify it with, does anybody have a video? Do we watch a video of this? You know, I'm not one to question referees, but referees make mistakes sometimes. And God forbid one of the fighters or their trainers go to one of these commission meetings and say, I just have a question about the referee's decision. We don't question our referees. Well, of course you don't, because you're never there. How could you?
And I think that's a policy of them. I don't know if they should ever change it, but for 20 years, or 19 years, I've been in this 19 years. For 19 years, I've seen them very hardly review videos of fights, but 100% of the time cut off fighters and trainers complain and say, we side with the referee, we side with the judges. We're not overturning a decision. I think that's great. You probably protect your daughters. I protect my girlfriend. I protect Charlene. I don't have a girlfriend, but if I did, you always protect people around you. You want to have people always stand up and protect you. But I think at some point in time, there's also decisions and mistakes that we've seen that should get reversed. And I think you've seen that on a worldwide scale with boxing and MMA. I've read on websites where sometimes decisions are overturned. Sometimes mistakes are overturned. I'm not saying you need to do it all the time, but there should be a way that a fighter or trainer feels confident that if a mistake was made, they will take an honest look at it. Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't understand why they do that. It's really frustrating, man. It's really frustrating. And I'm just a third party here. I'm the outside looking in. Like whenever I dial into these commission meetings or I'm listening in on them, the minute I hear that there's a trainer or a fighter coming on, that they're gonna, and I quote, they're gonna listen to what he has to say. They're not listening to what he has to say. They're just shutting the dude down. Whoever it is, they just shut him down.
Yeah. I mean, what about the boxing and matchmaking? I know that's come up a little bit lately here in Georgia, and it's on a worldwide scale, but on local shows, you see a lot of 15-0 guys fighting a lot of 3-12 guys. And you've been around boxing longer than I have. Why is that the case in boxing, but not in MMA?
Well, that's the argument, right? See, because a lot of people say, why do they allow these fights to happen in boxing? And I always say that's always been the case, longer than I've been alive. I mean, we're talking, forever. We're just going to build this person's record up. But that's the ultimate question is, why is it so difficult to not necessarily pad a record, but allow a fighter to basically establish a good record by fighting guys that may have more experience, but just don't have the winning record that the guy has? Because we've both seen it too. I've seen where an 8-0 boxing guy, he's undefeated, he's got 8 wins. They put him in with a guy that has 5 wins with 10 losses. Sometimes the guy with 5 wins and 10 losses wins. It's rare, but sometimes it happens.
I mean, the one you think of is John Trigg from 100 years ago here in Georgia. I mean, he used to always upset people. Terry Moss was another one. I don't think Terry Moss had the best records. He's a high-profile gym owner, trainer, promoter here in boxing. He's never had the best record. But I remember on my show, I think my second show ever, I think she upset the cheerleader, the Falcon cheerleader, Nina Lynn. So, I mean, you see it. But I think there's also managers in boxing that are willing to pay both guys purse money and then pay the promoter what's called a slot fee of $500 or $1,000. That hasn't really happened in MMA. I don't even know of any MMA managers in the Southeast that have ever come to me and said, hey, I'll pay my fighters purse money, and whoever you find to fight them, I'll pay that guy as long as it's a 80-20 advantage of my guy. I don't see that in MMA, but we do see that on almost every single boxing show locally.
And I think it even transcends into the refereeing, because I've heard a local referee here once say, I looked at these guys' records, and if this guy, the minute he gets hit hard, I'm stopping the fight. You know what I mean? Even the referees on the MMA side don't play that. You know what I mean? So it's almost like the referees have even bought into that whole mentality of like, we understand what's happening here, but I'm going to make sure that nobody gets completely crushed in this fight. So as soon as the guy that's supposed to lose gets hit really hard, I'm stopping the fight. And the fight's over, and the guy who's supposed to win gets his win. Yeah,
which is weird, because referees should be refereeing the fight regardless of how, they're there to protect both guys, not the guy with the winning record or losing record. Like, I don't know. I guess that's hard to do. Like, I've never been a referee. Cobra Kai almost had me as a referee last week because we didn't have one. But then they reneged and I wasn't a referee. But I don't know. You feel like you should go into the fight not even knowing the guy's records. I don't know. I guess that's impossible if you're a referee. You look at it when you get to the venue, or a judge. There's some judges that judge with earpieces so they don't hear the crowd during a fight. So I know John Merigliano, one of the judges here in Georgia, is also an attorney. He's the only judge I've ever seen that during the fight, he's taking notes. Right after the round is over, he writes a score down. He hands to the athletic commission. But then John Merigliano will write it down in a notebook, the score, and then he'll write down why he gave that score. So if me and you are fighting each other and he gives you a 10-9 over me, he'll write down exactly why he did a 10-9. And then he takes those notes home with him. And he has basically every single fight he's judged for the last 5 or 6 years, different notepads. That way, if he's ever called to say why he gave a 10-9 round, he can explain exactly why he did that. And I've never seen any other judge do something like that.
Yeah, the only boxing judge I've ever seen put earplugs, and if by chance he sees this, he's a grouch, and I tell him all the time. He knows he's a grouch. Is Ed Canner?
I had a feeling you'd say him.
Ed Canner puts earplugs in because he absolutely hates the loud music. But he usually provides a pretty solid scorecard whenever he's judging.
I mean, it might not even be earplugs; it might be hearing aids because all the judges here in Georgia with boxing are very old. I love them all. I just saw them a couple weeks ago. But
I love them all too. Especially
we need some younger.
We do need some younger ones. Boxing in Georgia needs some help.
I mean, Nola Oliver, you almost mentioned.
Yes,
she's never going to see this. Nola Oliver will never see this.
Nola Oliver watches everything that I'm on Facebook.
Shit, then
she's going to hear this. Yes, don't make fun of me.
Well, I have to anyways because I already let into it.
Yes.
But when I saw Nola Oliver at the last boxing show, I seriously thought she was Greg Elder, Eva Elder's father, because they look almost identical seeing her at the last show, and she had a face mask on. And I was like, Greg Elder? And she's like, no, it's not Greg, it's Nola. I was like, oh, shit.
Oh, nice job.
But super nice lady.
Yeah.
I mean, seen her for 100 years.
Yeah.
Very nice lady. So Julian's watching us.
Julian's watching us. We got four people watching, I think.
Julian turned into a hell of a commentator for us. His wife, his girlfriend, Jenna Lee, does all the editing that you see on all the stuff that NFC turns out of now. They've pushed our Instagram up quite a bit during the show. So yeah, they've been cool to do.
Yeah, fresh faces, man.
Yeah,
which is good. Fresh faces is good. There were a couple times where I needed a break from ring announcing, and Julian stepped in. Mm-hmm. I heard he did a great job. So
he did better than you on jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, that's great.
Jiu-jitsu, he was like Bruce Buffer in the middle and stuff like that. I'm not firing you, but he did really good on jiu-jitsu.
Listen, seriously though, what people don't understand about me is that I want to see people succeed at this point, right? When I first started ring announcing 15 years ago, I wanted to be the man. I wanted to be the only ring announcer, the only guy announcing everything. But when I meet somebody like Julian, the great thing about Julian is that the dude will ask me literally at least 150 questions per night. And I totally appreciate it, right? They're like legitimate questions. Shit that I didn't have the pride. I mean, I had too much pride to sit there and ask somebody, right? So because he has that approach, my approach with Julian is like, dude, I'll do anything to help that kid out, man. I really will. I'll help him out.
And the cool thing is he has someone to go to, because when we started this years ago, me and you had no one to go to. Jesse Wabel had no one. There's no other promoter to go to. Now, this afternoon, I talked to Conflicts, Jared Williams this afternoon, asked him advice. He asked me how I deal with things. And there's finally a group of us promoters that talk to one another and give advice and, talk about our SOPs and things like that. But years ago, there was no one to talk to at all about how to handle a different situation. And most of the promoters used to be hostile.
Yeah.
I mean, before you, there was only Southside Steve, I guess, with any experience.
Right. And he would literally, obviously he's a busy guy. Yeah. So he would literally show up 3 minutes before the first fight was going to start. You'd hand him a stack of papers and be like, all right, here are the fighters. Go for it.
He'd also he'd show up sober, but then he'd quickly get drunk during the night. Right. I still remember my first ever show, June 26, 2002, with O'Neal Bell boxing at the Roxy. And Southside Steve was my ring announcer. I think back then I'm pretty sure it was 90. I know it was 96 Rock back then. And he showed up with some girl. He was pissed drunk by the time he got to the venue. This was my first ever promotion ever, so I had no idea I was going. And then we decided it was a good idea to take 96 Rock license plates and koozies and T-shirts and throw it to the crowd. And the T-shirts and the koozies were great. The ring car girls threw the T-shirts and koozies at the crowd. The crowd's fighting for it. Well, then it kind of got bad when they took the 96 Rock license plates and they start throwing the 96 Rock license plates to the crowd. And then you see people ducking for cover because they're basically take their head off. So that was a little bit of a learning curve that we shouldn't throw license plates to the crowd anymore. But I think that was his decision to do that. But yeah, I love Southside Stu.
O'Neal Bell, that was, rest in peace, O'Neal Bell. But I'd be willing to bet that you'll never rely on a fighter providing you with ring card girls ever again. Because I remember the time O'Neal Bell brought his ring card girls in. It was absolutely horrific, man.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
It was, as Larry Green's on here, I think these days are called thick red bones?
Oh my gosh.
They were triple thick red bones.
They were very well-fed red bones.
They looked like Larry with a ponytail. I remember I talked to O'Neal Bell, and we decided to co-promote a show at the Roxy, a boxing show. And during the day, I'm at the venue setting up the ring, setting up the tables, the chairs, stressing, sweating, doing everything. And I talked to O'Neal. I'm like, "Where are you?" He's like, "I'm in the hot tub. I need to relax before the show tonight." I'm like, "You're in the hot tub while I'm at the venue. This is not a very good co-promotion between us." But he said he wanted to get the ring card girls, and they were some big ring card girls. Like, I don't even think Facebook was around at the time. I know Instagram was not around at the time.
Thank God.
But I don't think Facebook was. It's a good thing.
That would have gone viral. It would still be out there somewhere. Yeah, that was terrible.
I think it was just MySpace we had to deal with back then.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, stop telling our age, man.
I don't even think I don't even know if O'Neal Bell was murdered during Facebook time or if that was MySpace time. I think Vernon Forrest was during Facebook.
He was because we put that on Georgia Fighters on our
that.
website, and Georgia Fighters was in conjunction with Facebook.
Okay.
We were going off back and forth.
Okay.
But yeah, dude, we've done a lot together. Now we're trying to podcast. This will probably fail, but
it probably will. Or I'll get fired just like Inside Punch, where I found the DVDs yesterday. And it's like, was I fired at show 3 or 4? Which one was I fired on?
Probably show 4.
Probably show 4. So if I can last more than 4 shows on this podcast, then I've exceeded that. But we have an idea of bringing in numerous other, not hosts with us, but people to join us.
Yeah.
So maybe that'll take the pressure off my bad commentary.
Yeah, not only that, but we don't always have to do this in a studio format, right? Yeah. So I think most of our podcasts, some of them will do like this. Either whether if we're remote or we're somewhere together. But most of them are going to be where I'm at home, you're here, and we're doing it that way. We can do it live that way as well.
I think we're going to kill the podcast game here in Georgia. I think just because of what we do, how powerful we are, knowing the ins and outs, the marketing we have on our shoulders that we can use, and then the guests that we're going to incorporate. I just think that as we talk behind the scenes, I think people are going to be enjoying what we talk about out there and learning a lot.
Yeah, I think the guest part is going to be the cool thing, right? Because, I mean, as you and I have talked, offline, we're going to vary our guests.
Yeah.
Some of them are going to be MMA, some of them are going to be boxing, some of them are going to have nothing to do with the fight scene. Yeah. We're just going to get there. Do they watch the UFC? Are they at all interested? So hopefully we can attract some of those people.
Yeah, I'm like Clay Bennett. When we talk about jiu-jitsu, Clay Bennett just a couple hours ago said, "Congrats to Professor Bruno Frazado and a student, Alex Enriquez, on winning No-Gi Worlds." So that's something me and you would have no idea about. I didn't even know No-Gi Worlds was going on this weekend or that they won. But I think as we bring him and other people to talk about a segment about local jiu-jitsu athletes and what they're doing, he can tell us about that. Jesse Wable, I think he made a post a couple hours ago that Jared Gooden weighed in 3 pounds heavy for his fight this weekend, where he's the co-main event. So between those two guys, they know about everything going on out there.
Right.
That I think people enjoy hearing from.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I think we're going to do well with the podcast. I've worked with you on your shows for years. We've done Georgia Fighters, the magazine, as crazy as that was. I remember those when you
kind of bought it from Uli or took it over from Uli.
Well, we took over the website, right? Because his website, Georgia Fighters, was one page where you can scroll for hours
and buy T-shirts.
Yes, and buy T-shirts. So we ended up getting that from Uli. From there, we created Georgia Fighters, the magazine.
Yeah.
As cool as that was, I lost years of life.
Yeah.
With that darn magazine. I mean, we were working.
But the coolest thing was meeting Evander Holyfield that time at the Boys and Girls Club, or was Mike Vale's gym, Atlanta Pal at the time.
Yeah.
So we met Evander Holyfield there, where we had a guy do the cover of the magazine in artwork. And I think we donated the money from the artwork to charity. But Evander met us out at Atlanta Pal. We thought it was going to be like 30 minutes with CBS. CBS left. He probably talked to us about 4 hours. And this is when you still have another job. I don't. I'm lazy.
Yeah.
But this was when we were on our lunch break.
Yeah.
And I think Evander sat there for 3 or 4 hours telling us about his wives, his kids, getting his ear bitten by Tyson. And me and you just sat there for 4 hours. We're like, as long as Evander's going to talk to us, we're not leaving.
Yeah, we're not leaving. We're not.
But yeah, then we did on 790 The Zone, Counterpunch.
We did Counterpunch on 790 The Zone. We did well with that for a little while. They only let us do it, I think,
Wednesday nights
before there was no college football going on. That was like the deal. Then they told us once college football comes back, you guys are off the air.
Yeah.
But we did well with it.
We did. Then we had Inside Punch on Comcast On Demand that we did for a while. So yeah, I mean, I think we've done everything. I guess now it's the podcast.
It's the new craze.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've tried everything else. Maybe this one will stick.
I think we're going to make a lot of money. I already have a couple people wanting to sponsor it. So yeah, I think we're going to get a lot of money.
I'll take it. One of my daughters is in her 3rd year of college. I still have to put another one through college, so I'll take whatever money you got.
Is Biden not paying for that college? I thought his college was going to be free or something like that.
No, you have to be. None of them work in public service. So none of them are teachers. None of them are cops. None of them are working fire department. So I have to pay for it.
So Larry Green said, "Bring back the big girls as ring car girls."
Yes.
How about this? Next show, I supply 2 ring car girls, and Larry supplies 2 ring car girls. We'll let the crowd decide which one are the best girls. So
it depends what show you do. If you do a show at where does Pulse Boxing? The Cosmopolitan.
I'm not doing a show.
If you do the show at the Cosmopolitan, Larry's girls are going to win.
Yeah,
I guarantee it. I guarantee you that. But if you're at District, yours will probably.
Yeah, if I'm at District or Tanner Row, mine are going to win.
Only problem with your ring card girls is that don't you have to be over 12 years old or something to be a ring card girl?
Why? Do some of them look young?
Yeah, they look like they're 12.
I don't know. So this way I never get sued for sexual harassment. I don't even know which girl's going to show up. So I pay a bikini company. A girl that used to be my ring card girl, Wild Bill, she started her own bikini company, modeling company. So I just tell her the date and send me 2 or 3 girls. So I don't know until the night of who's going to show up. So that's a good part. I can never be involved in sexual harassment. And you've seen them. They sit behind you. I usually don't even go near them. I've learned what I need to do and not do. Charlene would yell at them for something. Charlene would go over and tell them they've had too much to drink. They've gone outside to smoke weed too many times, or they're being too active, whatever. Charlene has thrown out a couple ring car girls.
Isn't this Russ's job?
It's Russ's job, but I think Charlene also likes throwing people out. So yeah,
Charlene does like to throw people out.
Ironically, Charlene has thrown Russ out a couple of times. I think the last time was at Center Stage. He got thrown out and put in an Uber. He claims he doesn't drink anymore on fight nights, but
so there may be people on here who don't even know who Charlene is.
She's the tall glass of water you see at the fights.
Yeah, and kind of running around, bossing everybody around. I've deemed her as the, what do I call her when I ring announce? The director of operations, Charlene Dixon.
Yeah, so there's characters. I mean, there's Charlene, there's Russ. People I don't know Russ. Russ was the bald guy helping the ring car girls in and out of the cage, walking around and giving them the number. I think they'd be more effective if Russ just sat down and handed them the card and never walked. He's not physically the best guy out there in the world. Did her car wreck years ago.
He may not be the best guy, but how long has he done it?
He's done it forever. And the other thing is he's never given the girls the wrong number. I think that's happened once in 19 years.
Well, he asked me all night long.
Oh, he does?
What round are we in? Is there 5 rounds? Which round are we in?
And there's almost never 5 rounds.
Yeah.
And then jiu-jitsu is complicated because Russ and the ring car girls aren't jiu-jitsu people. So in our jiu-jitsu events, it's 2 rounds. If you're tied after 2 rounds, you go to a 3rd round. But if it's not tied, it ends after 2 rounds. Well, the problem is where they're sitting, they can't see the score, and they don't know. So lots of times, like Clay or Nate or Diego Shriver or Will, whoever's the referee, like won't signal to Russ or the ring car girls, bring the medal in, or there's round 3. So they're a little slower, and it is what it is on jiu-jitsu night. So,
but yeah, he's been around forever. I remember when I don't know if you still do this, but I remember when you had business cards made for him. Russ had business cards as the ring card coordinator.
Ring card girl coordinator. That way it would help him meet girls out of bars. So girls will say, "What do you do for a living?" Well, he worked at a hotel at the time years ago doing like customer service and crap like that, room service, whatever. But this way he could tell them he's a ring card coordinator or help him meet girls at bars. So there you go. I take care of my people.
Oh, geez. Yeah. I never got a business card.
You never asked. I don't think you need to meet girls at the ring announcer.
I don't.
No. You don't want people to have your phone number.
I do not want anyone to have my phone number.
Now it can say podcast host.
It can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
no, I'm good. I'm okay.
Vitke at your gym, whenever I hang out with Dave Vitke in Sandy Springs, like Tito Ortiz is the bad boy of Huntington Beach. We joke that Vitke is the bad boy of Sandy Springs. He never leaves Sandy Springs. You probably know that.
Yeah.
But whenever I'd be out with him running or going to Whole Foods or a bar, people always know him. They say, hey, I took your kickboxing class at Knuckle Up. I took your kickboxing class at Octopus, or whatever. I'll have to tell people now I'm at Octopus. Come check it out. And I swear, it's everywhere I go with Vitke in Sandy Springs, someone knows him. So I've told him, I'm like, dude, you need to get business cards on the back side, put 7-day free at Team Octopus or 3-day free, whatever it is. But he refuses to get business cards. And we know he's not the most intelligent human in the world. But I was going to make them for him and just get them done to give to him. But I don't know. He probably doesn't know how to check his email. I love you, Vitke, but you probably don't even know how to check your email.
He probably does not know how to check his email.
The good thing is he'll never watch this.
Does he have email?
He does, because Mike O'Kelly set it up, and I think O'Kelly still has a password because Vitke lost his password, and O'Kelly still had it in a spreadsheet or something that he had to give him. So the good thing is we can talk crap about Vitke because he's never going to see this.
He's never going to see this. I mean, unless he's on his phone. Oh, unless he's training somebody. If he's training somebody, then he's on his phone. Then he'll be watching.
So every time Guy posts Instagram videos, I probably shouldn't tell everything. Every time Guy posts Instagram videos, if you look at the corner, you always see Vitke sitting down with his phone. And a couple of us have texted that back and forth, and Vitke's included in those texts. But Vitke, you need to ask Guy when he's doing a video so you're not sitting in the corner on your phone.
He's always sitting on the corner, in a corner on his phone. Yeah, so Guy's just going to have to turn the camera the other way around because Dave's going to be sitting on his phone in the corner.
We shouldn't tell people what he always watches on his phone. We're just telling him he's always on his phone.
Yeah.
He's probably doing Facebook marketing and Facebook ads for his private training. I'm sure it's something like that.
He's looking at somebody's feet.
That's
what he's doing. That's what he's doing. He either took a picture of somebody on the mats barefoot, or he's just going to some page, some foot fetish place, or checking them out. Let's be honest here.
I guess about the podcast, we don't even know what we're doing. Like, how often are we going to do this? Do we know? Is it going to be weekly, bi-weekly?
No, we got to do it weekly.
Weekly? Okay. And if we get sponsors, we're doing more weekly.
Yeah.
So if you want to sponsor us,
we got to do it weekly. I think one of the biggest hurdles is us trying to get together, which we don't have to get together. We can do it remotely.
Okay.
And obviously we need some help with some people that want to be on the show. Yeah. Whoever wants to be on the podcast, just let us know. We'll get you on the podcast. I mean, Dave and I can't continue to talk all day.
So I see Mad Mike Wilson commented about Charlene throwing the hammer down. So Mad Mike Wilson, he's one of my favorite fighters. He's probably one of the biggest cheerleaders we have in the NFC. Last couple of shows, I've given him more purse money than we were contracted to, just because he's gotten bumped up to the main event or because he's done so well. But Mike Wilson, I still remember the first time he fought. I'll have to look it up. I know Mike Wilson lost his first amateur fight, and I'm looking up right now. Mike Wilson MMA record. I know Mike lost his first amateur fight, if not even his first 2 amateur fights. And I remember I didn't know him at the time. And I remember talking to Jesse Wabel, like, hey, we need to watch out for this guy. He's just not very good. I'm looking. He lost his first amateur fight to Diego Bautista, and then he lost his second amateur fight to Oscar Matasuka. Mm-hmm. Both decisions, NFC 85 and NFC 90. So I remember telling Jesse, I was like, this guy just doesn't look all the way there. Like, he's bald. He's got this huge beard. He's missing more teeth than he has teeth. And I didn't think he did jiu-jitsu. I thought it was just going to be a stand-up redneck from out in the trailer park somewhere.
Yeah.
And he lost his first 2 fights. So I told Jesse, I was like, we need to watch how we match this guy because he's obviously not very good. And then you look at Mike Wilson after that, 1 win, 2 win, 3 win, 4 win, 5 win. He went on a 5-fight winning streak after that, won the title, and then his only loss after that was to Brandon Moran.
Yeah.
One of the best fighters in the Southeast from champion martial arts. And then as a pro here, he's done pretty damn good as a pro as well. He's lost a couple fights to Akeem Bashir, who's good, and Amun Cosme, who's terrific. just beat Scott Farhad and potentially a fight of the year out there. But Mike Wilson has exceeded, I'll be honest, exceeded my expectations on what he'd ever do as a fighter.
He's like our local Arturo guy.
I was going to say the same thing.
He's the blood and guts warrior because those guys, those boxing guys like Arturo Gatti, win or lose, you're going to watch him because he's going to fight his ass off. He's going to be entertaining. And he's a great guy.
Yeah.
Right. All those three things is what Mike is. And that's what makes it awesome. I mean, when I'm ring announcing and he's in the cage, he's enjoying my announcement more than anybody else, more than anybody in the crowd. I'm getting hyped announcing it because of his reaction.
Yeah.
He's so excited to come out there. But yeah, man, I agree, man.
And it's interesting. He just said he went back to 45 and got back on track. I might be wrong, but I think when Mike goes down to 135, he's not good. But when he goes up in weight is when he's undefeated, which is probably complete opposite to other fighters. Other fighters, when they miss weight or have to go up in weight, is when they get beat by guys heavier than them.
Right.
And then when they go down is when they excel. He's complete opposite of that. And whenever we talk about weight cutting in MMA, he's the first one that's vocal about, there shouldn't be weight cutting. Weigh-ins are stupid. You should fight your natural weight, which that's probably something we could talk to him about or other fighters and see their opinions. Since me and you don't fight.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I went against Deontay, so I guess I am a pro fighter now.
That wasn't pro though, was it?
He got paid and I got paid. And in jiu-jitsu on our shows, everyone gets paid.
If you pay yourself, that's not getting paid.
But I'm now, as we joked back then, I'm the highest paid white belt in the state of Georgia. Because that show made a lot of money. And
were you a main event?
I wasn't the main event.
I was the main event of 2 shows, just so you know.
Yeah, but that was amateur boxing.
I was the main event.
But no one got paid.
Huh?
No one got paid.
You don't know that.
Well, I am the highest paid
white
belt in the state of Georgia. I'm the worst jiu-jitsu athlete in the state of Georgia, the highest paid. But yes, on our jiu-jitsu shows, everyone gets paid top to bottom, white belt to black belt. So the white belts even get paid $25 to compete, a bonus of $25 if they win, and then another bonus of $25 if they sub the guy.
But they don't have to pay
to enter.
Enter.
Yeah.
And pardon my ignorance, because I honestly don't know. Most jiu-jitsu, if you go to a tournament or whatever, you have to pay like a registration fee. Why'd you change that? I'm surprised you, of all people, is not charging.
Because we want to make a more professional type show. Those jiu-jitsu tournaments, you pay $100, $150 to enter. If you win, you get a medal. There's no prize money. We want to be a local pro show, and we want to pay everybody. So I've even got teenagers competing on the show, and I've had to write checks to their parents before because they don't have a checking account.
Yeah.
Not many. We've had a couple like that. But yeah, we want to be a completely pro show that we pay all the guys. So, yeah.
And then now you've introduced the tipping fighters.
Yeah.
That's something. Did you get that from another promoter? They were trying that out?
I think I got it when I was with Alliance. There's a promoter in California that did it, Roy Engelbrecht, that does huge boxing shows out there with MMA, but he had it years ago where you could go to the ring and you could put cash in with the ring card goes. They'd have a bucket after each fight. You could put cash in, and then they put in a bank bag and ziplock that bank bag up and write fight 1, fight 2 on there. I didn't want to deal with the cash, so I decided we'd do it just tip based on Venmo and Cash App. I might have to feed my dog soon. He's crying.
I see that.
But yeah, it's gone a little bit well. I haven't wanted to do it with MMA yet because the athletic commission. So we've just started doing it with jiu-jitsu. And I'd say it's going pretty well. I know one girl got a $500 tip last show that she had me write it directly to cancer research, I believe it was. So yeah, that's gone pretty well with jiu-jitsu. Hopefully we get to do with MMA soon.
Yeah. So changing the subject a little bit, I noticed that the Jesse Amateur Series, right? It's the amateur series, but you have pros fighting on the next card.
No, the amateur series is October 22nd at Tannery Row. It's all amateur. But then the one after that, November 20th at Tannery Row, that one has pros on the show. So Jesse, we asked Jesse if he wants to put pros on there.
Yeah.
And he said, absolutely not. He said, I want to keep it 100% amateur only. That was the purpose of this show. So I'm going to feed him.
Yeah, you're going to have to feed your dog.
I'm going to feed him. This is what you do at show number 1.
Yeah. So, so you have this really, really scary looking pit bull, but he's scared of me. He's very shy, but it's my first time in Oblas's house. Oblas and I have been friends for, I guess when he started promoting, 19 years?
19 years.
19
June
years.
will make 20 years.
Yeah, due to make 20 years. So it's scary to think that Oblas and I have been friends since I was in my late 20s, and I'm shy of 50 now. I'm just shy of 50, so that's a long time. A long time to be friends with somebody.
So
I don't have many friends.
Who do we think this guy on here now is? Come to my circus so I can rape and kill you. You're wasting my time. You're fat dummy. You need to put on your glasses to read that?
Yeah, I do. I need to read that.
I don't know if there's a way to click on that and see whose profile it is or anything like that.
No. But what I can do is block user. I just blocked them, so.
Every time I do that in the NFC community, people get pissed and they blame me.
For blocking people?
Yeah.
Well, I saw Joe. I knew something was up, that it wasn't you, because I know you're not a big fan of deleting comments.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, unless they're racial or something that's really bad. But I noticed that Joe Elmore was posting some stuff, and then he accused you of like deleting some stuff. And I was like, Joe, you've known Oblas about as long as I have. He's not deleting your stuff.
Yeah, I don't even think I knew how to delete comments on there. But no, I remember Joe made a joke about it. I was like, dude, I wasn't even home. I didn't even see the comments. So no. I love Elmore, but maybe he needs to learn how to use Facebook a little bit better. But I don't know why I don't even know why his comment got deleted or whatever he said. I don't remember.
Elmore's good on Facebook. He does quite a bit at promoting.
Warren Thompson is not very good. Warren Thompson needs to learn how to use paragraphs, and I make fun of him all the time. But Warren needs to learn how to use paragraphs. It makes it hard to read.
I love Warren. And I was talking to somebody else who loves Warren as well at the gym. Sitting in the sauna, we were wondering how the hell can somebody post that many times on Facebook in one day and still do all the things that he does, right? Because it's not like the dude is sitting at home doing nothing.
Yeah.
Like he's either hunting, he's training somebody, he's training himself, he's lifting weights, he's taking selfies in the mirror, but he's got 35 posts on Facebook. No idea how he does that.
Maybe ask Blake Rice. He's the same way. Blake probably has over 30 posts a day.
I don't see how people do that. I don't know how they can do that.
I don't know. We've got a couple people that want to be on our show. Larry Green wants to be on it. Mike Wilson. Austin Childers said he wants to be a guest. We're going to line them up. We're going to knock it out. We're going to be the next Joe Rogan on this thing.
You think so?
I think we need to tidy up our act a little bit, but I think we will.
Listen, I said it. Look, this is just a dry run. We're just trying this thing out. We got to figure out how to go live on Facebook, on our NFC community page. YouTube is cool, but if we go live on that page, I don't know.
So it says there, this is just a test run. But when I click on the YouTube, it doesn't say this is a test run anymore. It's almost like that line went away.
Yeah, I did. I got rid of it.
Oh.
Yeah, I can control that right here.
Oh, damn.
I've got power. I don't ask me to plug in 2 microphones, but I can do that.
Well, there's 2 chains, we're 1 mic.
Yes, that's right. So I think that's it, man. I think we've got our dry run. I think we're good. I think what we're going to do is we're going to do this thing once a week, whether if we do it remotely or if we're together.
We can't give the fans too much in week 1 right now.
No. So our plan for those of you guys that are listening, we don't have to have you I know like Mad Mike lives far as heck, right? Mm-hmm. He lives far away. So we can invite people on this as long as Mike has a computer and some earphones, he can.
It's Mike. Mike Wilson doesn't even have teeth. You think he has a computer?
I bet he does. I bet he does.
Mike, do you have a computer?
Find out in a minute. I think Mike can do it on his phone as well. Okay. So we can do it on his phone as well. So
I need to stop making fun of Mike. He's gonna beat the shit out of me.
Yeah, you need to stop.
Yeah.
Mike likes me though.
It's hard to say you're someone's your favorite fighter and then you talk about him the whole time.
No, I'm good with Mike. Mike's good with me.
I think next week we're talking about the Jesse Wable Amateur Series coming up on October 22nd.
Yeah.
At Tanner Row, Mike Bardsley versus Jonathan Francois, Alex Caruso versus Travell Miller. Maybe we even have Jesse come on for the show next week. I know he'd love to do that. So maybe we'll use that to preview that.
Yeah.
Maybe the next time we do a recap of that. And this weekend is Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder tomorrow night. Next week we can talk about that and what happened.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people know, but George Lockhart, who used to live here in Atlanta and fight in Atlanta, lives with Tyson Fury in Vegas. So he's with him as his nutrition coach out there. They did McGregor and some other fighters. But if you watch the Tyson Fury fight tomorrow night, it said he weighed in his heaviest ever, 277. I guess that's what they meant to do. But George Lockhart's his nutrition guy.
Yeah.
So tomorrow night we'll find out exactly how that goes.
Shout out to Lockhart's wife, CK, who was one of our Georgia Fighters magazine models or whatever the heck we call them. She was on there. It's pretty cool, the fact that they ended up together, and I know them both.
Yeah, they met. So they actually met at my weigh-ins at Wild Bill's back then. I know we were supposed to end this right now, but they met at my weigh-ins at Wild Bill's. I had CK come there one night at weigh-ins to be like the UFC girl standing between the fighters.
Yeah.
And it happened to be the fight Lockhart was fighting on. They met each other at the weigh-ins, and the rest is history. So,
and now they're married.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, cool, man. So I guess we'll do this next week. Definitely going to have Jesse Wabel on. Want to get his input on it. We might actually give him one of the microphones so he could have it at home.
Yeah.
Make his life easier so he'll have a computer. We know that.
Hopefully Charlene throws someone out of Tanner Rowe, and we can have her on in 2 weeks to tell us why she threw someone out and what they did.
That could be one of the segments. The segments can be who was thrown out and why.
Yeah. The Charlene Dixon 5-minute episode.
Yes. And we're also going to have Kimberly Sargent. We want to bring Kimberly in. Kimberly's great at being able to find out the in and outs of what's happening in the community, the local community of MMA and boxing. So, and she's able to dig some information from people that that they would probably not share with us. So definitely have some segments with Kimberly where she'll come in and provide us with some of what's happening out there in the MMA gyms and stuff like that.
Does she still go by Sexy Sergeant?
Sergeant Sexy.
Sergeant Sexy.
She might for this.
For 790 The Zone, she did.
She was Sergeant Sexy. That's what kind of put her on the map.
Yeah.
So she might be Sergeant Sexy for this again. So, all right. Well, cool. Well, thanks everybody for checking us out. Sorry for, it not being completely professional, but like I said, this was a dry run. See if we can do it. I think we can. So we'll be back next Friday then, and we'll knock this out. So thanks everybody for checking it out.